Hello. Hello and welcome. I want to welcome everybody who's going to be joining us on the replay. And we're going to give a couple minutes, as we usually do, to see who's to hop on here for the live stream, hoping that the technology bears with us as we are, of course, in Mercury retrograde. Or did Mercury just complete its retrograde? We are just about out. Actually, I believe today is the day that Mercury stations direct. Let me trace my chart back to the current day. All right, let's move the time forward a little bit. Where'd Mercury go? Nope, not yet. Wait, is it the 14th? You guys, you know how I am with all of these dates. I give you guys so many that I have trouble keeping them all straight in my head. Is it the 14th that Mercury stations direct? I think it is actually the 14th. Yeah, so we're still in Mercury retrograde, as we said. Something's happening today, though. What did I tell people was happening today, astrologically speaking? Did we have another planet? Venus is stationing today, I believe. Yes, it should be Venus. Yeah, Venus is stationing direct and completing her retrograde. That's the planet. Mercury's still going. Venus is stationing. Mercury, get out of the microwave. Hello, welcome, Eliza. Welcome, Pamela. Welcome, Ty. Yes, beautiful day. Here in New England, we are having sort of a nice wave of heat coming through again. So that's been very nice because it's kind of almost felt like fall time for a good chunk of the month of August here. So going into September, it's nice to get some extra boost of warmth and sunshine here. Hello, Third Eye Vision. Welcome. Welcome, and everyone, make sure that you are hitting that like button as you hop into the chat and as you begin joining us watching this video, and also if you are watching on the replay. Hello, Leanna. Oh, that's so amazing. Oh, thank you so much for letting me know that. That's so beautiful. That is exactly what I aim to do. So yeah, hearing that. I don't know. The chat replay sometimes records, sometimes it doesn't record. I don't know why I always click live chat replay when I set up these live streams. But Leanna was talking about being inspired to move forward on all the things that she thought was impossible. And remember, things are only impossible as long as we believe that they are. And that kind of leads us into some of the energies as we're moving into the 9/9 portal and the month of September. I'm really feeling this as like a wellspring of healing energy. Remember, we are in Virgo season for the first half of the month of September as well. And so we're really working with these energies and these themes. And then, of course, we will be moving into Libra season for the second half of this month. But we are in that beautiful, beautiful Virgo energy. And it's very much about health and wellness right now. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health, the mind, body, the spirit, the Trinity energies, balancing all of those within us. Remember, 9 is three times, right? 3 times 3 equals 9. And so that's the mind, the body, and the spirit being the Trinity that we're currently discussing. There are many Trinities, right? That times 3. All right. So it's really a powerful, powerful opportunity for us to bring balance to all these aspects of the self. Hello, Jamie. And really have a check-in point for the habits and routines, looking at Virgo energy and how it is that those either do or do not support our mental, spiritual, and physical health and well-being. And so really getting a check-in for that, like we said, coming out of the 8/8 portal, moving into the 9/9 portal, which is, of course, part of September's energies, and kind of an overriding energy or theme as we move through the month of September. And it feels like an energy of renewal to me. Rejuvenation, renewal. 9 is a number that does represent the masters, right? 3 being a number that represents the ascended masters, 3/3, of course, and the 9 being a 3/3/3 number, right? As we said, the Trinity times 3. 3 times 3. And so, really working with that energy of mastery and really coming into a mastery I'm feeling of some aspect of our being. So I think for each and every single one of us, there's going to be one particular aspect, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever it is, that is wanting to be mastered as we move through these energies and through this portal. And for each of us, we're going to be seeing what that is. For me, it's very much physical right now, working on a lot of physical healing stuff. I actually have noticed as I've been in the process of recuperating from a really powerful healing, that some of my old stuff, physical stuff, is coming to the surface right now. Stuff that I thought that I had addressed and moved beyond. And so as I was feeling into it and kind of confused, like, where is this coming from? One of the things that I felt was because the number 9 also represents the ending of cycles, closures. I felt that this was something that was coming up for like a final close, like a final closing out during this energy. So just being aware of that if it happens for you guys as well. If things are coming up to the surface that really felt like they'd been dealt with, for many of us, I feel like it's like that final close out of that energy. We talked about, I mean, we're coming through that blue full moon, super moon in Pisces. And if you guys didn't check out that video, I highly suggest that you do, as I always say. And that was really powerful. We're still within the energy of that. Some people say a few days around the moon. Some people really look at it as the full moon is in effect until the new moon, the energies of that we're working through. And of course, they're going to be felt most powerfully during the moon and those 3 days surrounding the day before, the day of, the day after. But then moving through the next 2 weeks, as we then sort of fizzle out to the new moon. And then the new moon, we feel building for 2 weeks until we come into that full moon again. We really feel the energies of that. So it really opened up a powerful energy. And that was, of course, a lot about karmic closeouts, emotional detox, right? So much that was going on with that moon. I can't get into all of it right now, but check out that video if you want to know more about that. And we feel that energy still, that energy of really closing things out in a big way. And one thing that I do want to address on here, and I have to be careful how I address it because of the platform that we're using and the level of censorship that we have on this platform. However, I really feel that I need to address this. And I started addressing this actually in the Blue Moon and Pisces video. All right, the importance, I believe I did anyway, because one of the big aspects of that Blue Moon in Pisces was shifting timelines, right? And quantum healing, tapping into the quantum realm, the quantum world in a big way. And we had talked about the importance of not overly giving our energy to negative timelines. And so I want to talk about that again, because there's been a lot of buzz going on. And it does look as though, at least in the country that I live, they're going to be introducing a new V. And that there is, we always have like new strains coming out of things, right? There's always something new. And so there is a new and improved V that it looks like is going to be introduced. And a lot of people have been, there's been a lot of different theories around that and the timelines that are going to come out as a result of that. And so I know it's going to look different in different countries, if in fact, and it does look like this is something that is happening, right? However, the repercussions of that are really going to depend on us, right? And so I was having a conversation with someone today, and I was saying the original timelines that wanted to be played out around that were not successfully played out, especially in countries like the US where I live, right? And where not all of us live. Unfortunately, some of you, I live in countries where the reality and what's been experienced there so far has been a lot darker and my heart goes out to you. But I know specifically here, the timeline that they wanted to create around that did not happen because too many people stood up and refused to comply and chose their personal sovereignty, their bodily sovereignty. And I think after much of the the evidence that has come out and the personal experiences that people have had, I think that number is going to be even lower this time. And so people who say that there's a possibility of like another wave of people worrying about losing their jobs and all of this different stuff, I don't think that's going to happen like it did the first time, because there's just not, our energy isn't there. All right. So we have to continue to not place our energy there and to place our energy on the more beneficial timelines where we have sovereignty over our minds, our spirits, and our bodies. All right. That's where we're focusing our energy. Just remembering that we have that choice. There are energies out there. And you guys, if you want to understand more about who is pushing all of this and who is controlling these narratives or attempting to control these narratives, check out the live stream we did on what is the inverted AI matrix. What is really going on here? All right. We talk about a lot of this energy there on these players, these beings, right? And all of their lackeys. And so it's like really understanding that we and continuing to exercise our sovereignty and knowing that those negative timelines and all the control and the things that they wanted to put in place, the ways that they wanted to force our hand, did not go down the way that they thought it would last time. And if that is attempted again, it is not going to go down again. All right, because we are going to continue to stand in our sovereignty, and hopefully other countries who were not able to exercise their sovereignty to the extent that we did here are able to exercise it more this time. All right, it's all about that energy of standing up. And this is really, because this, in many ways, this is a spiritual initiation. All right, it's a spiritual test. So how many people are able to recognize that? Maybe you didn't recognize it the first time around, but you're recognizing it this time. And this time you stand your ground. Okay. And for people who want assistance with the self-healing from perhaps they made a different choice in a different timeline, perhaps last time they gave away their sovereignty. All right. And they allowed other people, their job, the government, to make this choice for them, and they regret that and want to do a self-healing, please reach out to me. The raw Reiki and the aura hypnosis quantum healing that I do can address this and assist your body, your soul in gaining their sovereignty. All right, you gaining your sovereignty in mind, body, and spirit back, detoxing from this, beginning to heal from this on a quantum level. All right, that is one of the things that we do. So, yeah. Do not allow yourself to descend into fear around this. All right. Know that whatever happens, we can handle it. And we are manifesting positive timelines for humanity. All right. I think one of the most amusing things I saw a video on, I forget what platform it was shared on. I want to say it was like Instagram or TikTok or something like that. And they were talking about, they had a clip from B, who is our, the puppet or the entity or energy that's been placed at the head of the helm here, so to speak, in the United States. And B was discussing how people who had gotten the V the first time were more likely to end up with catching this new strain, like they were more vulnerable to it. And so in order to protect themselves, they needed to get this new V now. And so you see how that energy is going to keep building on top of itself. All right. And we're going to do a live stream on Rumble. I am going to start a Rumble channel soon because there's some stuff that we really need to talk about that we really can't. This is pushing it probably to the furthest extent on this platform, unfortunately, as far as like trying to discuss this stuff. And so, because I really want to get into this so we understand this on a deeper level right now, for people who want to understand it more, go check out Rising Phoenix Aurora's Rumble channel. But yeah, there's a lot going on with this. It goes really, really deep. So I wanted to bring all of that up just to remind people, do not descend into fear. All right. Do not allow yourself to start creating these negative timelines. Understand that even more people set that timeline of whatever happens, more and more of us will be stepping into our sovereignty, refusing to comply with things that do not resonate with their mind, body, and spirit. All right. That is what's most important here. All right. Knowing that we have a choice and exercising that choice. All right. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But that's kind of a powerful energy as we're moving. A lot of people have been anticipating this around mid-September, some sort of big event like this or something going on around that. And Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out, but our responsibility is just to maintain our frequency, to maintain that higher timeline, and to stand in our sovereignty no matter what, and be an example to people that they can do that. The more of us that stand together, the harder it is for us to fall, right? Hello, light maker. Welcome, beautiful. Hello, Carla. Yes, so much infinite love to all of you. Hello, Pamela. Yeah, a lot of people have been experiencing allergies and things like that, interestingly enough. Yeah, it's there's been a lot of that. And I think some of that too. I will say part of that, I think, is as our frequency rises, we become more and more sensitive. And remember, there are a lot of chemicals being sprayed into the atmosphere. There is a lot of unnatural, inorganic, like, let's just be honest, crap all around us. And so a lot of people think it's ascension related. But honestly, to a certain extent, it's less about ascension, I think, and more about the level of pollution in our atmosphere. And as our frequency rises, the level of sensitivity that we have just cannot tolerate that. For me, I'm seeing that a lot with my diet. I'm becoming more and more intolerant of all of the pesticides, all of the inflammatory things that they add to our food. It's making it really, really difficult for me to eat most things. Um, Anything that is heavily processed, packaged, even just a lot of the foods that are not whole foods, depending on how they're grown. It's just it's becoming quite a struggle. It's honestly pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty rough. That's always the area that I've struggled the most with anyway, in my own personal life and experience, is around food and making choices around food and just all of the energy about it. You know, it's keeping these meat suits, these physical vessels running is a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, you guys. I have to keep bringing myself back to, I am so grateful for this physical vessel that allows me to have this experience, right? Just keep bringing it back to gratitude, you guys, and keep hydrating and blessing your water. I'm not as good with that. I always bless my food before I eat it. Sometimes I forget about blessing the water. And so really, as we're moving through, hello, Ariel Sun, as we're moving through this month of September, just taking really good care of ourselves, seeing where is it, mind, body, spirit, which aspect of me is calling out for mastery. All right. And this also relates to emotions, right? Mental, emotional, physical, however you want to break it down. There is going to be, yeah, exactly, Eliza. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so when we go out in public too, because a lot of people are, I mean, they're just like people now, because of the things that they are choosing to intake into their bodies, we're going to say it like that, are also just kind of leaking or shedding this toxic energy out of them as well. And so those of us who are really sensitive are also going to be picking up on that. And so one thing that's really helpful to do is as you're moving through your day and when you go out in public, just imagine that you are like your body is a giant matchstick going up in flames, and make those flames whatever you color you like. I like rainbow. Rainbow, including every single color that exists, including black, all the colors of the rainbow. I like that. That's what I use. And just imagine that these flames are burning away everything that is artificial, everything that is that needs to be transmuted and returned to source, positively polarizing or neutralizing all that comes into contact with you, and instantly neutralizing any artificial. All right. Because all of this stuff, all the different layers of pollution and the things that are releasing and shedding from people, it's all adding up to a lot of irritation and inflammation for those of us, cellular damage, oxidative stress, for those of us who are attempting to, for everyone, right? But it's even affecting those of us who make a really concentrated effort to be as natural and organic as possible. So we really have to work with this. Imagine as you're drinking, bless your water, drink your water, imagine it clearing you All right. Imagine it connecting you when you're showering, when you're working with water. Imagine it cleansing you. Go out in the sun, charge with that sunlight. Really utilize the resources around you as far as the elements. The elements are our greatest tools when it comes to cleansing and clearing and protecting our energy. Aside from the things that you would learn in, say, becoming like a raw Reiki practitioner or an aura hypnosis practitioner, everyone that I give sessions to in those modalities, one thing that we recommend is for people to become certified, because there are some powerful alchemical techniques that are taught that I can't share openly on these platforms, because it's more sacred knowledge that really helps to protect oneself. But we do what we can, right? So really focusing on that for each and every single one of us, and focusing on our sovereignty. All right. That's going to be a big focus as we move through the fall time, and whatever energies may come to pass. The next couple of years are going to be really powerful, you guys. So we talked a little bit in the Lionsgate portal about next year being an 8-year according to the Muggle calendar, right? So how we're moving into the 888 portal. We talked about the information that Rising Phoenix Aurora came through with, which matched up perfectly with a lot of the communications that we were receiving on here, which was really fun and exciting, regarding the opening or the unlocking of the sacred keys, almost like the popping of seals of these 13 sacred keys, sacred laws of creation, sacred ley lines all over the planet. And how in the Gregorian calendar, it was an 11-year. And since 2012, we've had these seals, these 13 seals opening up or popping, if you will, unlocking, which with each of these Lionsgate portals. And so this year it was the 11 key, the Shambhala key, located in Tibet, the law of possibility that we had activating. And so we have two more, right? Key 12 and key 13 over the next 2 years. And it's interesting too, when I was feeling into the 9-9 portal energy, I was shown that the year after is going to be a 999 portal. All right. So talk about major closures. And another thing that came through when I was just tapping into the energy for a second was, what was it? It was the activation of the crystalline blueprint, or the crystalline matrix. And so there's powerful stuff going on over these next 2 years as we moving into the 8-year and the 9-year, or the 12 and 13, which of course would break down to a 3 and a 4 in typical numerology, but accessing, opening those seals, those gateways. So 2024, 2025 is going to be really big, you guys. We're going to see a lot of powerful shifts and changes. And our only job is to continue healing, to keep holding our light. All right. And so that we can be that light that assists in leading people out of the darkness. And yes, we all have our own darkness that we're working with as well, right? So we're not always going to be able to be there in the same way. Sometimes the way that we be the light is simply by doing our own healing work, and people seeing that example. Even if that example that we're setting is setting boundaries and saying, I need to help myself right now. I cannot help you in the way that you need, because my first responsibility is to me. That is even a powerful example, right? Teaching people the importance of filling their own cup, that it's okay to say no, that it's okay to set boundaries, that it's okay to take that time that you need for you. Everything that we do, it's all a powerful example. All right. So that's what we do. That is how we contribute at this time. And we continue aligning ourselves with our highest and most organic path. Yes, speaking kindly to our body, that's a huge thing, Eliza. That's something I'm working with as well. Oh, that's Vita. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Ayurveda is powerful. Yeah. Ayurveda is powerful. There's powerful healing there. If that's a route that you're being led down right now, trust that. Absolutely. Thinking of your life as the ritual and stepping into your daily tasks with the highest intentions, your higher self always shows up. Boom, right there. Thank you for sharing that. That's perfect. All right, so let's get into the cards a little bit, you guys. And remember, clear. As we move into the second half of September, we're moving into Libra season. So out of Virgo season into Libra season, which is also, then we're still working with the energy of balance. All right, clear. So these themes continue to show themselves. Let's look at the 9-9 portal. Let's get some energy. What are the key energies we're going to be working with for the 9-9? That's what we want to know right now. Yeah, so here's that Libra energy, justice coming out. This is the energy of integrity. And we got into this pretty deeply in the Blue Moon Mercury retrograde collective reading. For those who didn't watch that, I have no clue how many. Hello, Sarah. And then we also have the 7 of Swords. And I'm feeling this in a couple different ways. Hello, Cookies Mama. So good to see you. We've missed you. We haven't seen you as often anymore on these live streams. It's so great to see you again. All right, let's get a couple more major themes. All right, we got the Page of Wands coming out for the month of September. Let's get one more major theme for the month of September here. Judgment. All right. So, Justice, first card out, first major theme for September as we're moving through these 9-9 portal energies as well. Walking your talk, standing in your sovereignty, standing up for what is real, for what is worthwhile, for what is true. This is the energy of not backing down. This is the energy, and I said this, hello, Sophie. Oh, I just know I can feel your beauty as always, just radiating through. Hello, Chief Rabbi as well. Okay, hold on. I'm going to address this for a second before we go further. We can never miss our best timeline because we can always align with it. They're always existing. And sometimes we think we know what our best timeline is, but we don't. We think we do from our limited human perspective, but like our higher self knows better. So sometimes it's about trusting our higher self, and also about checking what our expectations are. Like, what makes you think you failed to activate your throat chakra and your third eye? What is the criteria that you're judging that by? Is there an expectation of what you thought that was going to look like and feel like that hasn't been met? Because perhaps the process of activating those chakras is not what you think it is. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling for you. Okay. And so it's about kind of looking into that, feeling into that. What did I expect this was going to feel like? Is it just because my expectations aren't going to be met? Sometimes the activation of these things involves an initiation. The throat chakra, it's about speaking our truth. Are you using your throat? And remember, our chakras don't, our chakras are always active, right? It's the only way that we can function. That's how we take in energy. All right. It's just they can be more or less, they can be overactive, they can be underactive, they can have energy that's kind of blocking them from flowing freely and completely, right? This is absolutely true. But it's the things that we do that assist that process. And there are things that we do on our end as well. So it's the Lion's Gate isn't just going to magically activate things for us. There's also an aspect of us. And by activate, I mean, bring those on, clear those for us. It's a powerful nexus of energy that assists us, but it's also about us taking our part in that process as well. And so just continuing to work with those energies. All right. Continuing to work with speaking your truth. All right. To work with the colors and the crystals and the elements that are associated with these chakras, right? To continue meditating. All right. To aid with that third eye. Also, perhaps considering getting an energy session. All right, you could reach out to me, shoot me an email if you want to do a Bell Vespita session. Those are really powerful as far as aligning and releasing energies, moving through energies, stuff like that. Sometimes we need that assistance, right? Setting up a Reiki or a Bell Vespita session. Of course, any of the other things as well. I mean, I never don't recommend aura hypnosis. That is, of course, a bit more of a commitment in time and resources, but absolutely worth it. But even just something like getting a tune up from the energy, getting some assistance there to move those energies. But like I said, I think the most important thing is the expectations that we hold. All right. It's like, for example, when my psychic senses started activating, I expected things to look a different way. Like, for instance, I know a lot of people who are clairaudient, and so my mentor and one of his other proteges are definitely clairaudient. And so, like, I would see them listening and hearing like their guides talking to them and stuff. And I have a friend who's very clairaudient as well. And so that's something that I expected as my senses were activating. And that's not the way it works for me. I'm more claircognizant, which is just where you have that knowing, and where it's not like I don't necessarily hear anybody speaking to me. It's just like the information is there, and so but I wasn't expecting it to manifest like that. All right, I was wanting or thinking that I needed to have what these other people had, and that my gifts needed to come through the way that theirs did. And when it didn't happen, I felt disappointed, and I felt like I wasn't activating spiritually. They also could see things very easily. I see things when I'm in meditation or when I'm working with someone's energy. I'm seeing things, right? I'm seeing as I'm in the meditative state, but I have to be in that state in order to pick up on that. If I'm just looking at someone, I don't necessarily just see everything right now. It's not that, it doesn't manifest like that for me yet. Okay. And so it's like not expecting, it's just shelving the expectations and knowing that each of us grow at our own pace in our own ways. And that perhaps what you're going through right now and what you're learning and the way you're learning, because that's something that I had to learn too, was that I was really impatient because I felt like my spiritual gifts weren't activating fast enough for me. I was really frustrated. Like, when is this? And the funniest thing too is, like, in the very, very beginning, I would get mad about this, but I wasn't doing anything either. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't doing anything with my gifts. So it was like one day I started laughing and I realized, like, what am I expecting? My spiritual gifts are just going to activate while I'm sitting here on the couch, lounging around on the couch. It's like, for me, they have to have a reason. When I'm trying to assist somebody else and my heart is in a pure place, that's when they really spring forth and activate for me. Like, when I got on YouTube, even though I wasn't confident in myself, I wasn't confident in my abilities. I didn't think that I could read tarot. I didn't think that I was intuitive really all that much. I just knew that I needed to do something, and I risked looking like a fool in order to do it. And slowly, because I was using the muscle, right, it continued to grow. And because I had a purpose for it, and that purpose was completely selfless in nature, or I'll say 90% selfless. It's difficult as a human being to be completely selfless at anything. You know what I mean? It's like, for those of you of the generation who used to watch the show Friends, that competition that Phoebe had with somebody where they dared her to find a completely selfless act. And so she did all these things that she thought was selfless. And then every time they'd be like, I forget who she had the bet with, if it was Joey or Chandler or whoever it was, but they'd be like, so when that happened, how did that make you feel? And she'd be like, oh, it made me feel so good. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? So it's like 90% selfless. But you know what I mean? Like, that's another way that things sort of worked out for me as well. And I just had to get comfortable with the pace. And I've seen people whose gifts, Sophie is one in the chat right now who just said hers were going too fast. And I've seen people whose spiritual gifts and whose third eye and these energies opened up too fast. And honestly, I've seen people lose their minds, go literally certifiably, like, lose their minds. Okay. And I've seen some very sad things happen that make my heart very heavy. And it's really given me some perspective around that. All right. Everything happens. If it's happening slowly for you, it may be for the best. All right. Because it's giving you time to work with it, time to get comfortable. All right. And it's also saying, remember, this September energy, this 9-9 energy is about what can I do on my end? And for me, I told you guys there's a lot that I'm healing and working through that's manifested to a physical level for me. And so for me, it's like, how can I physically support my body? Right. And also, how can I support myself in other ways? And so I've decided that I'm committing to a daily, I'm shooting for 20 minutes of just sitting and meditating and connecting with my body and asking my body to communicate with me and tell me what it needs and sending love and healing to my body. And that's the way that I think that I can contribute best to my own healing at this time, besides of course drinking lots of water, getting lots of sun, and trying my best to eat as mindfully as possible. All right. Hi Brooke, welcome beautiful. Hello INFJ. Oh Sophie, I'm so glad that your headaches are still so improved. 7 of Swords coming up for you too, Jamie. We're going to get into that right now. And so it's not about higher or lower ascension timelines. It's about all of us being on the timeline that is the most organic and natural for us at this time. And not getting frustrated with ourselves. Sometimes it takes more time. All right. I'm still working on aligning with my highest and best timelines. All right. Like more than you guys probably know. Honestly, there are lots of aspects of my life and the current timeline that I'm on that I would still like to shift. All right. But I'm understanding that more and more that I do that simply with my vibration. And there's deeper and deeper levels of healing that are asking to be accessed. And so that's where I'm focusing my energy right now. How do I do that? How do I align with my highest timeline? Simply by continuing to heal and raise my vibration naturally. And that includes continuing to release these lower vibrational belief systems, right? And that's a process. It's all a process, and we have to be patient. We have to have patience with ourselves and this journey. Yeah. Yeah, it takes the time that it takes. And remember too, our souls chose this path and they chose how long it was going to take. So there's certain aspects of our spiritual journey that are reliant upon the level of work that we put in, right? The level of healing work that we do. However, there are also certain aspects of this journey that were predetermined by our soul. Like my soul, for instance, I've learned this over the years. My soul chose a very slow path. Okay. My soul wanted me to need to work for it. And it didn't want to give it all to me right away. It wanted things to go step by step for me. All right. And when I surrendered to that, my life got a whole hell of a lot easier, you guys. Yeah, we don't want to push ourselves. We want to that's part of loving and accepting ourselves, right? I actually had a point in time just a couple years ago where I honestly I surrendered and I said, you know what? And this was when this had to do more with knowing more about my soul's history. It was kind of like there was a block there where I couldn't access any information on that. And I had a lot of friends that were learning all this really cool stuff about who they were in other dimensions and lifetimes and like just a whole lot of stuff. And I was getting nothing for the most part, almost nothing. And I was like, you know what? And I was still kind of in that process of, my gifts of beginning to develop and all that. And I said, perhaps I just am who I am. You know what I mean? Maybe I am a super young soul. Maybe this is one of my first lifetimes. Maybe I don't have this deep wellspring. I mean, we all do, right? but maybe I don't have this deep wellspring of spiritual gifts, you know, maybe I'm just like, you know, just kind of average, you know, like not like the most important spiritual, you know, we all want to be and think of ourselves as like these super powerful ascended masters and everything like that. Like really, we're all fractals of the archangels and different higher selves that come from the archangels. So we're all incredibly powerful, right? But just going with this analogy, I was just like, whatever, maybe I'm just not all that important, right? But if I'm not, then look at me and what a great job I'm doing. Because if I'm not and I'm able to do what I do right now, that's pretty impressive. That I've worked that hard in this lifetime, you know, without all of this elite spiritual talent and whatever. Like good for me. And I gave myself a pat on the back for that. And I was just like, whatever, if this is what it is, and my greatest gift is my mind in this lifetime and the ways that I use that in beneficial ways, beautiful, you know, and I gave myself credit for that, you know. It's like, give yourself credit for where you're at. And this is the thing is like, we're always seeking to learn more about who we are in other lives, right? The badass that we are in this dimension or this dimension. And we forget that like, this is the most difficult place to be right here. All right. It's easy to be all of those things in all of those other dimensions. In this, the lowest dimension of consciousness, where communal living exists, it is like what we do here. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where that energy is the most impressive. All right. Where we are the most constricted, where the least amount of our soul light is able to come into this body, into this vehicle, right? And so I don't know, it's about loving ourselves where we're at. I think is the point of all of that, and accepting our journey. This dimension can be an asshole. It can, absolutely. Absolutely. And so can we while we're down here, you know? And it's like, that's all part of the experience. Yeah, I love you all so much. So getting back to this, because I am on a bit of a time constraint today, as I usually am. One day this won't be the case for us, but right now it is. So we got justice, standing in our integrity, standing up for what we believe in, for what's important. All right, big energy, these themes of integrity, of justice, karma, right? Evening the scales, karmic healing, karmic completion. The reflective energy here, see the reflection? And these look like two different women, right? But it's still, I'm feeling the energy of reflection. Noticing, really paying attention to what this dimension, what this energy is mirroring back to us so that we can shift that which desires shifting. Seven of Swords. Getting into this, Jamie. There's two meanings to this card, and I feel both of these meanings coming through for us this month. One of these meanings is, of course, the traditional meaning. Something sneaky going on, right? Somebody trying to get one over on us. But I'm noticing in this card, you see how it looks like they're in the moonlight, right? But see how powerfully that moon, the light from that moon is shining down on him. This looks to me like people being exposed. True intentions and motivations being exposed. And that shifts back to this card, right? So September is going to have a way of stripping us bare in many senses, exposing what needs to be seen. So this could be self-sabotage. And this could also be other people sabotaging. So be wary of that. Notice where that is happening. And this is also some people receiving justice for energies where other people were harmful to them. So be aware of people trying to get one over on you. But also be aware of where it is that you're trying to get one over on yourself, because remember, everything's a mirror. And the other meaning for the Seven of Swords is doing things differently. Doing things differently than they've always been done. So remembering that as well, if something isn't working, try something different. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, you stay in your own integrity. All right. There are going to be perhaps people who are trying to pull a fast one on you, people around you who are not in their integrity. And that is going to tempt us to step out of integrity. All right. That energy of like, if you can't beat them, join them. We don't sink to that level. That's not what this energy is about. It's about rising above that to end that cycle. All right. There are some people where lying, cheating, and stealing is all they know. And as times get more desperate, right, as the 3D is caving in around us, more and more people are going to be reverting back to their more baser nature, so to speak. We are going to see this happening in the 3D. So we have to rise above that too. Look how peaceful she looks, right? She's holding on to her sword, that sword of truth, that sword of clarity, that sword of justice. And because she knows that she is living in authenticity, she isn't worried about anything else. Yes, accountability in clearing our own energy. Exactly, Jamie. And we talked about that in the Blue Moon video. If you guys haven't seen that, really, really go check that out. As well as the collective reading for the Blue Moon Mercury retrograde. So important. That Saturn conjunct the moon during that blue moon, that was that energy right there. That's it. Saturn and Pisces, right? And the Saturn and Pisces video, right? We get into this. This is a big theme right now. Taking responsibility. Then we have this beautiful Page of Swords, and see how there's like looks like there's a portal behind her, almost a portal of light. I love that. So this is the energy of really, I feel like being creative from that place of like working with our inner child. This is like 5th house energy here. Embracing our inner child, freedom, abandon, right? You know what I mean? Beautiful, blissful energies there. Dancing, singing, creating. What I feel too is unburdening ourselves. So if there's a secret, this energy too feels like a secret. I'm feeling moon card energy too. If there's a secret that you've been keeping, that you've been holding in, it's time to unburden yourself of that. This is the unburdened version of this, right? Set yourself free. If there's anywhere in your life where you are holding yourself hostage by pretending to be something or someone that you're not, by holding a secret holding on to somebody else's secret, or a secret of your own that's just eating away at you, it's time to release yourself, unburden yourself. That's what I feel. That's what I'm feeling here. And with Judgment as the final card, really emphasizing that, right? The call to action. Set yourself free. If there's anywhere where you have to pretend, set yourself free. Give yourself the gift of not having to do that anymore. For some reason, this card right now, the way I'm looking at it, I'm feeling like the words final judgment came to mind. And this feels like the final judgment on a soul level. There's been a journey, there's been an evolution, and there's a spiritual test coming. And how do we pass this test? By standing in our integrity. Right? The highest and best solution resolution for all possible, acting in resonance with that principle, avoiding this energy, right? Releasing all of the burdens and the heaviness of the secrets, the things that weigh us down, the shame. Embracing our magic. There's an energy here with dance as well, just as an aside. Using dance as a way to release energy, to shift energy, to activate. Powerful activations here. And remember what I said about the events unfolding. If you guys missed that at the beginning of the video, definitely rewind that and listen to that. The events unfolding, possibly unfolding, the possible timelines, and how the choices we make around that are a spiritual initiation, a spiritual test, if you will. It's kind of like last time was a warm-up. Okay? And this is the next level of that test. I heard final judgment, so I don't know. Is this the final test? Can we discern now? Are we ready to stand in our autonomy, our sovereignty, our bodily sovereignty? To not fall in line? Unless that's what truly resonates with us, of course. It's like the sorting. Oh, it's so funny. The image or the metaphor I just got was the sorting hat in Harry Potter. You know, when you put it on, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. You put on they would put on the sorting hat and it would talk in their ear and go through the qualities that they had and which houses they might do best in. And then when it decided, it would shout out the name of the house that they were going to be sorted into. It's almost like the events that are getting ready to come to pass and that have been coming to pass since 2020. It's sort of like we've been wearing the sorting hat. And it's sorting us into the experience that we're ready for next. Are we ready for but it's like dimensional instead of houses. The houses are like dimensions. 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension, 6th dimension, right? We're restoring the 5th and moving into the 6th, right? We talk about that. So it's like, where are you in that process? The final judgment is coming that determines where your soul, what level of learning your soul requires next. And there are going to be temptations. That's why it's so important. Temptations to fall back into old patterns, old energies. Temptations to give our sovereignty away and take the path of least resistance. But it's not about that. Clear. I love you all, by the way. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. Yep. Cookie's mama doing some physical healing right now too. I don't know, Jamie. We'd have to talk more about this. I think that distinction is about what feels like it's in highest resonance for you. Right? That's what the Justice card means for each and every single one of us. Hello, Stanley. Welcome, brother. Yeah. All right. Clear. Emperor on the bottom of the deck. Love that energy. That's the energy of stepping into our sovereignty right there. One final card before we close this out. Got the 3 of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race. All right. Taking it step by step, piece by piece, making sure that we have a firm foundation before we keep building. This is reassurance that if things in some area of your life have been moving forward slowly, it's been slow, but it's been steady. Okay, and like we mentioned earlier when we were talking about hello, Eric. I don't think I said hi to you earlier. when we were talking about this, the speed of our spiritual awakening and the activation of our gifts, psychic abilities, etc., etc. Slow and steady really is the way to go. All right. So if things have been moving forward, it just hasn't been happening at the pace that you want. Remember also, we're in retrograde season. We've got almost all the planets are retrograde right now, you guys. So Venus just stationed direct, but as she stationed, somebody else just turned. I remember that. 1221 here. Currently. Who just went? Was it Jupiter? Jupiter just stationed to go retrograde. So we're swapping one for the other. All right. So things are going to be slow anyway, because this is a time for revising. This is a time for revisiting. This is a time for really resetting those clear goals and intentions. And making sure that we are ready and balanced in mind, body, and spirit, so that we are capable of doing all the things that we're longing and desiring to do. Clear. And maintaining that, right? Hello, rhythm. Exactly. Slow and steady is often. That's why they say slow and steady wins the race, right? Clear. All right, you guys, I love you infinitely. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, we are manifesting those highest and best timelines for humanity, those timelines that allow all of humanity to stand in their sovereignty, to decide what perfect balance of their mind, body, and spirit looks like. All right, to make the choices for their mind, body, and spirit that feel aligned for them. Those are the timelines as we're moving forward. Standing in our sovereignty, standing in our integrity. All right, and not worrying about what everybody else is doing, just focusing on what we are doing. You guys are beautiful. I will talk to you very soon. Love you all so much.